Okay. So good evening everyone. So today we will be seeing functions in Python. Let me share my screen. What exactly the function is, how to use it. So we have already used the functions already in the previous classes already. But what exactly the function is, we will be seeing that today. So generally functions are meant to say part of programming which can be called multiple times. So it's like write one and use anywhere mechanisms. So you can use the same code multiple times to do the same operation multiple times instead of you writing multiple things again and again. So in any language, there will be certain type of I meant to say this type of tasks or meant to say functions. You can maximum of the languages they will call as functions only. Uh, so here in Python there are actually mainly three type of functions uh, broadly classified. Actually, if you see system functions, user defined functions and lambda functions. So before going to in detail, so why we need to use like functions? So I'm just getting this. So in our previous class, what we see print 2 plus 3. So I'm printing 2 plus 3. So and I'm running. So here what I'm getting 2 plus 3 is 5. The answer is correct, right? So it is doing the addition. But so this output is only for 2 plus 3. But I want to do it for multiple things. Like I want output for 10 plus 20 or 10 plus 30, 40 plus 50 or very large numbers like just I'm typing some number and so if we goes on writing this like permutation combinations to get all this additions, it is not possible to write every combination, right? It's like okay, 1 plus 2 is this, 1 plus 3 is this, 1 plus 4 is this. So in calculator, if for example, if you take a calculator example, which we will be coding later on. So it is like if I give the input numbers, it should give me the output. It should do the addition automatically. But I don't want to write again this type of okay, if a equal to 1 then do this, if a equal to 2 then do this. Not that kind of additions, but I want something to be written and can be used multiple times anywhere. Just I want to use it anywhere. So for example, so similarly, but what happening if we goes on writing this, the permutation combinations will never end, and it's like the programming, it's not good uh, practice to write. So the lines goes on, goes on. Like you will never know when this will. Maybe you will write 1,000 or 1 lakh lines to do some simple multiplication. To eliminate that problem and to use this the functionality, actually there is functions we define. So function is nothing but we actually write the similar kind of code to do, for example, to do addition, but we actually use that in multiple times. Like we call that function can be used and we can use it multiple times by passing the arguments. So before going to user defined functions, let me go to system defined functions before. I think we already know, like already we have seen the print is a function. Whatever we seen till now, the print function is actually what it will be doing. Whatever we give the input, it is outputting the strings what we are passing. So, but this also will have some definition, right? So someone have to code this. So print, if you see, it is actually giving the definition, but this is actually implemented in C Python, what we have already discussed in previous sessions. So this is a system defined function which is implemented using C language. The source code can be seen in the documents what we have provided. So again, so this is system defined functions. Similarly, if we go to this function like system defined function already from math. Math is a module, sorry, where we implement like we import the module, and actually I'm calling this function what it is defined. Square root is nothing but it does the square root operation. So in system functions we directly call that, we don't again define what need to be done inside. So if you see these examples, right, just for our purpose, I'm just running this to get understanding. So here it is saying import is not defined. So what I want to say, I want to import my. So now it will work. So this is the module where we are importing, and from that module we are actually calling a square root function of 16. So when I run this, so it will give me hello world, and the square root of 16 is 4. So here again, if you see, we are calling two functions. All these are system defined functions. We are not writing any code inside that, which is already available when you do the installations or when you install the packages. So the code is already available. We just call the functions to use that uh, I mean, the functionality which is already defined. So instead of doing again, not reinventing the wheel, we actually using the wheel whatever already invented, but in different ways. So this is mainly with system functions. So if you see there are multiple system functions going forward. We will be looking at, as of now we have like print, square root, and maybe there will be open functions or range function we have seen already. So similarly, if we go the next topic, this is the main interesting topic what we need to look at. So to user to define their own functionality. So for example, if this is my I want to say I want to write an exponential, like I want to give, it's not, so I want some I meant to say exponential of 2, like whatever I pass to this variable, it should give me the output like 2 power 2, like this is like square root, sorry, square, 2 power 2 is square, right? So x power 2, so square of this number we are passing. So to get the all the squares, so what I am doing, this is the syntax what we call say. So I am saying my Python interpreter, I am defining. So in Python, to define a function, this is the syntax. So I am defining a function. My function name is this one. I am define my underscore function, or you can define just changing square of number, and I am passing this argument, like I meant to say this will change accordingly. Like if you want square of 2, it will change depending on the value you pass. So what we are what is the output we are expecting is whatever the value we pass, we should get the square of that number. So it is not like again you are doing print of 2 power 2 is like 2 into 2 into 2 something, or 3 into 3 power 2 is, so it's not like we are doing that. So it is here what we are doing, we are actually performing the operation. Yesterday what we say about the operations using the power operation. So we are actually returning the value after performing the power operation, the square of the number function. So if I run this, you don't get any output. So we have just defined function, but to get the output, we have to call that function. So if I run this, so we are not getting any output. So but if I call this function, so it's like just, and what do you want? I want from 6 square. So what it is doing, it will call this. So before that, we have to print also. So to get the output on the console, so I am calling this function and I am giving input. So what's my output expectation is, it should do 6 to 6 square. 6 square is 36. So what it is doing, it will call this function and do this operation, whatever the operation we have given, and return that value, and we are actually displaying that value in the function. So it is like very easy to do that. If you want multiple, like instead of changing 6, you can give multiple any number, it will return the exact value. So if you take the calculator example, in calculator there will be say power or addition, subtraction, right? Similarly it will be something like this. The same we are writing. So let me change. So I am giving x and y. So here I am again, yeah, addition of number. So I am changing my function name and I am calling this. And here I have to change it, right? I want my addition to be performed on two numbers. So what I am doing? I am doing x plus y return and give me the output. The operation got changed here. So I want to give the two numbers outputs. If we don't give the number output, it will throw us error. So because we have defined two arguments here, so it will take two inputs. Arguments are nothing but inputs to a function. So when I run this, it's like 2 plus 5. 2 plus 3 is 5. So similarly, when I 100, 3000 and again run it, it's like 2001. So it's like, oh, the user can define their own way of mechanisms, and it can be called at any time. So repeatedly, if I want to perform multiple operations of multiple things, like I meant to say I want to perform nearly 1000 additions at a time. So I can call this function 1000 times, right? Instead of writing everything, or you can just put all the inputs in a loop and you can do that, or to get to call these additions. So this kind of use cases we need to check. So how, why the function is defined in Python? So it is for our easiness only. So instead of rewriting the code multiple times, you just can call this function at once, and we can give the variables like changing inputs, and we will get the output whatever we desire. So any questions here? So user defined functions. So you can do much more with user defined functions. So but the basic syntax will be something like this, like a uh, the def is the keyword to create a function, and it should be followed by name, and then parentheses should have arguments. Arguments may not be necessary, but it's good to have anyone if you are returning something. Like I meant to say, like if I just print test. So I am calling this function which there is no arguments, but I'm just actually what I'm doing, just I'm giving a print statement inside that, and I'm calling that function object. So again, when I run this, okay, it is actually because already print is there. We are actually doing multiple times print. So if I remove this and try to run with only one syntax, let's see how it. So it is saying one position requirement argument is required. Why? Required positional arguments because we have defined two arguments here, but here we have given only one argument. So this errors will come when we define two arguments, but we are not passing any one of the value in them. So on this line is like just a comment line where we use for multiple comments or to define what is the functionality inside this function. We use this multi-comment line, which is with triple quotes. Normally, it general quote will be yeah, like if you want to comment it out with any line, it will be single line. It will be hash. But if you want to comment with multiple lines, we should use this triple quote notation. And then these are the user defined functions. Okay, if we go back to lambda functions, so lambda functions are similar kind of I meant to say user defined functions only, but instead of having multiple expressions, it will have only single expression. So if I see here the same example, I am taking in the same. So here I'm not defining anything, like I'm not using any keyword, but I'm using lambda keyword. So which will give me square. So instead of doing return and anything, actually I am just assigning a variable to this line, and I am calling print my lambda of 2. So if I call this, sorry, so, okay. So it's like I'm calling 2 square is 4. So here the lambda function is also works as it is like the user defined function what we defined earlier for the square of a number. But here what's happening? It is actually evaluating in the single line itself instead of doing multiple statements and I meant to say multiple code, it actually evaluating in single line itself. So it is like very useful for defining any one evaluation statements, but going forward uh, it won't support multi I meant to say multiple expressions, but in functions you can define like uh, if case conditions, like if user input is like add, and then you can define multiple expressions like in the same function definition you can add number or subtract number or something we can define the same function, but in the lambda it will be only one expression will be evaluated at a time. So you can't give again like x colon and x plus y x plus 2, something like that you can't give. So again I want to check. So if it is x plus y 2 comma 3, so the addition also we can perform. So it will be evaluating only one expression at a time. So that's the main difference. Like you can't use multiple expression to evaluate, but lambdas are very useful when you have only single point agenda in writing uh, the functionality. Only if there is only one expression and I want this output to be like come immediately, then you can use lambdas. But if you want a repeated code to be executed and called multiple times, the functions to be called at multiple times, then it's good to have functions. These are different functions. So again, there is another use case of lambda. I meant to say for list, if you want to apply. So if we take this conjunction with higher order functions, actually there is a concept function called map. I meant to say, so it actually implement whatever we define in the lambda to all the list values inside that list. So if I this is the example I will be taking. So here my list. So I am defining 1 2 3 4 5 my list. So here what I am doing is queried list. So I am defining x equal to x square. This is already we defined here itself. So but to implement all this this function on all these elements, we have to use a map function. So in real-time scenarios, it will be very useful if you are getting output from different streams in a set of arrays, but you want to do something on all the elements whatever you are getting. Uh, I meant to say like if you are login and not login, I didn't I'm able to recall the real-time example, but something if you are want to implement in real time, if I want to implement I am getting some strings in in small letters, but I want the output to be implemented in capital letters. All the strings to be done to capitals, then only it will allow me to do the authentication. So generally for that we do two upper. But here we can do the similar kind of thing. So if lambda is upper and two upper, we give the list as input. It will apply for all the elements. So similar kind of thing like in map. So in map, what it will do, it will apply this function to all the elements in this list. So if I again run this total code, so it is doing what it is doing. you say, okay, map element, okay, it is not printing again. Mhm. Okay, it's actually what it is doing. It is doing the map. It is actually converting to map object. Okay, let me convert to list. Mhm. Why it is not doing? Okay, let me check on Google. So I will ask Bard how to convert. Okay. So here actually what it is doing, we are actually applying map function. The variable what we have taken is converted into list. So we want it converted back to list object. So we are actually typecasting it again. Let's see. Okay, done. So if you see here, so the mapping has applied all the I meant to say squaring to all the elements inside the element, like a list whatever we have passed. So yeah, so this is the problem with it. Will miss something. Ah, codes. Okay, let me update this. So, but there will be map. Map is very useful function going forward to apply multiple like functions on multiple elements at a time. So map is our go-to choice. So we can uh, check about map function once this class is done. So this is with functions in Python. So again, the recap is like only three types of functions will be there: system functions, user-defined functions, and then like I meant to say lambda functions. So any doubts on functions before we go to GitHub?
No, sir.
Okay, okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, let me go to GitHub. Uh, so, so from going onwards, like from now onwards, whatever we write in the program, right? So from maybe tomorrow onwards, we will be writing multiple programs. So I want everyone to have this Git account created and upload whatever you write, even if print program or a function program, whatever you write, create our own repository and upload it to GitHub. So it is will be very useful in our interviews or going forward if you give our GitHub link, and it is very useful for interviews to check. Okay, this guy has did something. Okay, he has verified this. So what missing with the different online teachings is like I see multiple we do Udemy courses or normal Google courses or something, but I'm not seeing anyone having their own repo and whatever they are doing the trainings uh, or whatever they are doing the examples, they are not storing it anywhere. So it is better we will be doing that. So, but why on only GitHub? Because GitHub is actually open source. So it is actually can be accessible by anywhere from anyone and in any organization. They can access this GitHub repo if it is public, if you made it public. So this is just I meant to say how the GitHub is using. So all the Python code also like open source code is also hosted on GitHub only. Not only Python, multiple I meant to say multiple libraries, open source libraries, maximum of them are hosted on GitHub only. So why GitHub we needed? It's actually easy for us to maintain, and if you want to do something, already you have implemented something, but you have to do the changes, but you don't want to have the like functionality dropping. So this is one of the way where we handle versioning, like okay, this version is having this one, so you can upgrade that version the code to the next version. So the GitHub will store the all the versions of the code like version 1, version 2, version 3. Whatever you do the changes, it will actually have it maintained. So it is very useful for someone to share our code and review. Okay, if something is not working right, then you can give like you can give that link and ask them to okay, here my code is not working, can you please explain? So multiple communities will be there, you can ask them and you can directly give that link. So here I'm going to GitHub now. So generally this is my very old GitHub uh, repository. If I check, so generally this is I think this is one of the best I meant to say uh, automation we have did till now, like uh, as of now everyone using OCR, right? Like in Google, if you are Android you will be using Google Lens, but if you are on iOS you will be using Photos. So now the latest feature is like on the photo, if you long press on Google Lens also, if you long press, it will automatically detect the text in that, right? So here, like what I think it's actually 5 years ago, what we did, there is a login page where the captcha is to be filled. So at that time, the captchas are very not this much. I meant to say, uh, not very unique. It's like okay, the text maximum, the text type of captchas used to be there. So we actually used Tesseract is a one of the library in Java where we used Tesseract to do the OCR like optical character recognition. What we are using now in Google Lens or Photos in iOS Photos or somewhere where we get the text directly from the image. Similarly, we have implemented the same thing in Java where the captcha will be there. So and it will actually go to that, and it will see the element the capture is getting, and it will actually do the capturing, and it will actually do all the processing inside, like do OCR. So this is the one of the, I meant to say, what are we implemented before. So we will be doing the OCR on the image file. So it will automatically give us the result, and then we actually do it, uh, get that text file, and then we do like give the output in the captcha text box we used to enter it. So it used to work fine, but as I said, at that time the captchas are not that much hard. Now the captchas are very hard, and now everything is changed. So now we are getting to check like lights, traffic lights, or something. The mechanisms was changed. But at that time, this was actually implemented in one of our projects as well, like in the internal project, in the I meant to say in the work project as well. Actually, it worked fine. So, so this is how, if you are doing something, so after 5 years to maybe you never know when this will be again useful to you. So better we keep something on the repos so that it will be easy for us to do. So now generally, okay, GitHub. So account creation, as of now I have, I meant to say, should it, okay. So I want to log out, where it will be. Actually, I have not used it many times, like very old. Okay, generally once you type a normal login, right, like you will get a page where you can create account, you can create it. Mm. So, and we have the same thing, like set up Git, how to set up Git about. So the documentation is already available. Uh, so now what I am doing, I am creating another repository. Like, so here there will be new repository. So I am creating 360. So I'm creating, and here and just I'm, so you can create your own like I meant to say, I'm just creating with the username, but you can create with your own name, like something, if you example Sai underscore training Python, something like that, you can create. So I'm just making it as public only, not private. So create repository. So normally you can actually use like so if you want to add someone to access your library to do the update, you can use the collaborators by giving your email address. Uh, so as of now, my repository is created. So I'm going to this repository, but so if I see here, s- so there will multiple things like we can link a project if it is already open. We can uh, do the things, and we can actually, as of now, let's stick to only creation of repository, and we will going forward we will check how to add our codes into this. So I am just uploading. uh, I just want to just uh, save file. Functions demo.py. Functions demo. So if I, this is the main branch where I see this is already added. So if I go back to this, I see this is already added. Uh, so I can directly open this in GitHub as well. So if you see whatever we have coded, it is obviously available here. So we can directly upload via code editors, and once we set up a GitHub on the editors. Uh, but as of now, we can upload it normally. So maybe tomorrow we will see how to do the uploadations, and like I meant to say, tomorrow onwards we will be starting few programs uh, using basics only, not any advanced concepts. Then we will upload to the repositories what you have created. That's it. Any questions on this? So I will be giving these links as well. I think that's it for today.